rotting away due to the coronavirus, not being able to attend work for almost a month now. I've tried picking up different hobbies I could possibly learn from being self-quarantined, like say cooking or being better at video games. But I guess I can only find myself attracted to making goddamn YouTube videos. Being very infatuated over Japanese animation, I thought, wouldn't it be a good idea to pick up a classic gem I would normally refuse to watch due to my limiting taste in genres. Kind of funny to admit since I review anime for fun. Someone who sets boundaries for themselves towards jobs tend to create unnecessary obstacles, in which in my case is trying to be biased. Being familiar with the anime and its community, I was bound to come across little tidbits of what Full Metal Alchemist is. Hopping over 10 years late to the FMA bandwagon, I thought it would be like your standard getting stronger protagonist with super overpowered metal limbs to kick a bad guy ass. But unbeknownst to FMAB, I was truly mistaken. And the only way to start this explanation is to start from the man himself, Edward. Edward isn't necessarily a perfect protagonist which drives the story forward in a traditional anime setting. Even with immense talent, he still lacks the real-world experience people learn growing up. Learning from his past mistakes and implementing them early on into the series is a perfect example of that. I haven't watched nor do I plan on watching a lot of shonen anime in the future, but I strongly believe the foundation of what builds an interesting protagonist stems from the generation where the first anime adaptation of FMA was aired. Naruto, Bleach, One Piece being prime examples. I can safely say we see those fundamental trends in our modern pop anime today, and the creators has taken whatever source material the FMA IP had and beautifully polished what FMAB is today in a non-traditional sense. It wasn't all about Edward and his 8-foot-tall metal brother that kept me interested, but the help he receives along his seemingly endless journey in finding the answers he seeks since he was a child. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, in my opinion, might have a unique and interesting world on paper, which I'll get back to, but what really does it justice is its characters that significantly drive the universe to a whole new level. Even only being no more than 60 some episodes long, its magic of not feeling super rushed, especially during the beginning of the series, can't be topped from any of my favorite animes in recent memory. Characters are sometimes introduced for convenient plot development, but the series portrays these characters with interesting and colorful personalities, making it really hard to criticize that aspect of the plot driving. Edward's father is a prime example of what a good story building can do in introducing a character we have bad impressions of until finding out the true narrative of that character. By using common traits as being a normal parent or a good father, and people having different personalities, we fawn over the backstory of the Elric family. This really applies to anyone. Everyone in the series serves a purpose. Ling Yao, Colonel Mustang, King Bradley, Scar, Maria Rose, Jean Havoc, and even that pricky boy. Every character might not have been equally represented, but I believe it did try its best. If any of you people, and I mean any of you, have seen my last 2 videos, I'm not the best person to convey words into videos. There were many issues and problems that I mistakenly left out or not include after uploading them on this website. Those videos were pretty much argumentative and lacked a lot of my personal views, which I failed to convey. However, in this installment of Did It Suck, I hope to make that different. I've been deeply invested in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood since I picked up the series, and I feel like I wouldn't be doing the series nor myself justice if I didn't do this video properly. I really don't want to get cocky or anything, but I'm starting to notice a significant trend in views on my recent YouTube videos. I mean, it's not a lot, they're only by hundreds, but honestly, doing this for more than 5 years now, I'm really glad to see change. So basically, I just seriously don't want to get into the boring stuff and dig each nook and cranny of why Brotherhood is the most amazing, perfect anime in the universe. The purpose of this video, and like any of my other videos, is to more or less tell you if the subject anime is good or not, then convince you to watch it again or not. Honestly, that really sounds counterintuitive. FMAB has shown me more than enough of what a series can accomplish in merely 3 episodes. I've seen many types of anime in my life, but not many to impress me like FMAB did early on into the series. I'll be completely honest, I've never watched the first anime adaptation of FMA, but doing a few Google researches, it seems clear the first 10 episodes are small recaps of the first 25 episodes of the original and a few chapters in the manga. From then on, the story tends to slow down in a more plot plot-driven pace like a backwards roller coaster, and that's not a bad thing. In my very picky fashion, I thought this was kind of a shortcut to shorten what was merely a perfect revamp of the original IP, but hearing how the original animated FMA series was, I couldn't find reason to complain. 70% of people jumping into FMAB were already familiar with the original IP, so the general consensus could expect a possible shortened nature early on into the series. I was only doing myself a disservice by not watching the 2003 FMA anime adaptation. Even though watching the 2003 anime adaptation isn't required to get into the lore of FMAB, I would highly recommend watching it if you're not familiar with the series. If you're someone like me who's very impatient and doesn't have 100+ episodes to swallow, I'd say just fucking do it, you pussy. Something I would tell myself in the past before watching FMAB. And plus, since the coronavirus is a thing, you should, have all the time in the world. The world of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is stunningly wonderful. It's set in the early 1900s, but I'm not a historian nor a chemist to explain to you people the history of how that relates to our real world. If anything, I'll be the last dumb fuck to explain something complicated to someone, especially in regards to a cartoon. I just review anime. I'm not your high school teacher. The story really isn't about post-pre-war history and chemistry, but all of the characters revolving around those issues. This might not be a popular opinion, but I actually think the main character isn't Edward and his brother, but rather all the people who participated in the story. You can probably think of it as like a sack of potatoes. You can carry each individual potato back to your cottage home, but bringing a sack with you to carry all the potatoes at once would make it much of an easier job to carry and wouldn't have to force you to go on multiple trips. Do you understand what I'm saying? But honestly, that's only the beginning. Small and minor details of FMAB truly makes the series stand out as a classic. Comedic flavor gives the anime a kick for some people who might like it, but honestly hard to ignore for some people who won't appreciate it. However, parts of the series where it's meant to stay true to the plot have very funny moments which both individuals will enjoy. The sound direction of Brotherhood gives the already an engaging world more personality and life, from big booms of when alchemists perform alchemy to Edward and Al making small clacky noises from their metal armor and prosthetics. In my opinion, even though animation might not be consistent, Bones sure did well where it counted. Strongly driven narrative were carried with emotional facial expressions and body language. Epic fight scenes were projected so fluidly, feeling natural, always keeping you on your toes. To be honest, it can't compare to the likes of other classics before its time, but it did well enough to convey the world it was paired with. This might not be a popular opinion, a little spoiler ahead by the way. Even though Envy's true form is rendered in 3D, being a budget decision or not, it was the right decision to take. His unworldly appearance matched the eerie aesthetics of the character. Details like this that can go over people's heads and be brought as criticism is sad for some people who can't see the appeal, or at least create the illusion of appeal. In conclusion, I honestly can't find any more good reasons to point out in the video without spoiling the damn thing. It's close to a masterpiece in my books, and honestly I recommend it to any anime fan who's a veteran or is just getting into anime. Even if you're not into narrative driven story or action packed genres, I really still believe that Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is something that no one can miss out on.